Alright, let's start with the selection techniques. Number one, which is lasso tool. Sorry, the selection tool with the marquee. The first tool itself in the entire toolbar, which will look like a dotted square or rectangle. That's what I'm talking about, which is here. Now there's a black arrow on it, means it's a set. If you press and hold on it for a second, you will see the other tools popping out of it. Okay? You might not see from distance, but the first tool reads rectangular marquee tool. Okay. The next is elliptical marquee tool. Third is single row marquee tool, and then single column marquee tool. Single row and single column are quite rarely used. Okay. Or most commonly used are first two, which is rectangular marquee and elliptical marquee. Okay. So let me just grab a rectangular marquee for the sake of it. Okay. Let me just take that tool. And all this tool works like, if I just drag it by holding my mouse and draw the selection, the moment you release your mouse, you will see the cursor leaves some footprints behind in the terms of white and black dots. They keep moving. Okay? In Photoshop, it will always happen. Whenever you will see this effect, some designers refer it moving ants effect. Some of them call marching ants effect. Okay? Where it's actually nothing but an active selection in technical terms. Okay, it is a selection area. So right now, every single thing you see inside these moving ants, which is in here, there, all these pixels which are within this marching or moving ants is your active selection. In other words, if I'll say in a layman's term, can you go and select the patch of sky from this picture? This is the layman's language. But then what it means for you in technical term is just pick a marquee tool, draw the selection for the patch, and that is your selection. And then second instruction could be use this patch in some other image or in some other graphic. So when someone says that, all it needs to do is you literally copy your active selection and you paste it on top of the other image or within the same image on a different layer. Okay, so all I'm gonna do now to select the patch of sky, I'm gonna close this. Okay, and just that's my selection. You can go to the edit menu, select copy. Control C is the most common shortcut we all know. Copy selection. It doesn't do any high flying effect once you copy. But if I'll just go to edit menu and simply click on paste, okay, it pastes that graphic selection at the same location where you copied from. You can't see here difference because it's the same background image behind. But you check the layers. Do you see the difference in two layers now? The background layer will have the constraint image. So if I'll hide that, that's a patch of sky. I've copied and pasted. Okay? This is what selection techniques are. You select something and you either extract it, paste it somewhere, do something with it. Okay? Now, this is the way, if I just paste it straight away, it will appear within the same graphic. I might have another image. So let's say if I go to any other picture graphic I need, for example, let's say I have this Lower Manhattan. Okay. Now in this image, I want to show that sky. It is already there. So if I go back, right, copy this selection, I can change the tab navigation to the second image, and I can go and say edit paste. The patch comes here. You can take a move tool and you can adjust your patch wherever you want, like that. Yeah? This is what selection techniques are. Okay, but rectangular techniques are normally used to do rectangular selections or square selections. Okay? Don't worry, I'm not going to leave you so basic. We can do more complex selection techniques as well. But if I'll go back to my selection, if my selection is there, which was here first place, now Photoshop sometimes will not allow you to do anything else if your selection is active. It means your moving ends are there. Okay, you might keep struggling what's happening. The only thing is Photoshop wants you to settle down your selection or disregard it or save it and then do something else, the next stage. So if the selection is active, there's a simple shortcut or a simple menu who will deselect your selection. So all it does is it just removes the selection from active to inactive. To do that, you simply go back to select menu, and under the select menu there's a deselect option. Control D is the shortcut key. You might use it because you're gonna use selection more than anything else in Photoshop. It's important to know this easy shortcut, which is Control D. All right. So if I just go there, Control D, that's it. It just removes my selection. Okay. If I'll go back to my rectangular marquee, few things I want to show you. Wait, look at the top. We have 4 options at the top. Okay. If you can see the first option here, and if I keep my mouse on it, it says New Selection. Okay. The second option says Add to Selection. Right. Third says Subtract from Selection, and the last is Intersect. Quite beautiful options. I'll show you how it works. First thing, I'm starting with a brand new selection. That's why I don't see anything, right? But if I just draw my first selection on this sky, okay, at the later stage, you think, okay, I need to select quite wider patch for my graphic. You don't need to deselect and start again. All you can do is, as the selection tool is on, you can go into the options bar at the top, and you can click on Add to Selections. Means you can add into your existing patch of marching ants. Okay, and you can do this adding and subtracting from any selection techniques or tools you want. Right now I'm using marquee tool, so I'm going to use the same one. So let's say I want to expand this selection. I can click on this second option, Add to Selection, and from this existing selection I will extend extra patch. The moment I leave that, see what happens? It keeps my existing patch, plus on top of that it adds the new patch on it. Then if you think, oh, my by mistake you might have done wrong, okay, let's go and subtract the patch out of it, so which is the third option. So I can click on Subtract, and I want to select this patch in quite nice random ways. Okay, I can simply go and subtract from anywhere here, like that. Okay, something like this. The moment I release, the intersection part will get subtracted from the patch. Now imagine selecting the sky or the clouds with this shape. Those who learn, most of us, we done CSS in HTML. We can do such kind of patches, copy it, paste it. You see what kind of patch I've got? Now this kind of shape I can use as the background image of my div, or I will apply it as a background to my wrapper in CSS, and I will keep my wrapper fitted here in between. You know? So when you're going to use CSS, you require knowledge of Photoshop like this. I will show you a precise example the way I have used it for one of my websites. A lot of people ask me, students ask me how I have done it, but I said you have known Photoshop, so you could have done it yourself. It's simple. If you are going to fly Europe, you see that? Now this is nothing but a marquee tool. Created a rectangular patch. Then I borrowed some other pictures, arranged them outside this patch behind them, made sure this marquee patch is about 980 wide pixels, saved it as JPEG, and I'm applying it as a background image to my body. And it is fitting nicely with my 980 wrapper. So it looks like the website arranges nicely according to your image. That's because my graphic design was like that. But the question is not about website designing and CSS. The point of view is whatever I'm teaching right now, the selection technique, this is how you should use it in future. Okay? Because I had never used any magical tricks here. It's a simple marquee and arranging different pictures around it. Nothing else. Okay? Not now. Questions after the demonstration. So that's what the addition subtractions techniques are. Apart from this rectangular marquee, there's other marquee tool there called elliptical marquee. For example, if I have other image, let's say I can use this earth texture. Okay, I can use elliptical marquee this time and just draw a round selection. Okay, and I can extract a piece of round shape from this image. So if I just say copy, paste, and hide the background layer, do you see what I've got? I've got the extracted shape of the earth. Now, which is just a plain image, but I've extracted it. And then I can simply go and add a new blank layer. Okay, take the paint bucket tool under the gradient, so which is a paint bucket. Change the foreground color to black. And for this blank layer, I'm going to simply click on my stage. Okay, my workspace is obviously black, that's why you don't see. But now you see that the stage is filled with the black color, but it's on the blank layer. I can simply drag this layer under the planet, under the layer 1. When you drag it, do you see the line is highlighting after number 1? Do you see that here? That highlight means your layer is ready to drop there. Otherwise, it will know. If it's not highlighted, and if I leave the layer, it still goes back to the same position. Okay, so you simply hold, drag, keep under the layer 1. I've got the planet. This is how you have to do. So some of the activities from the newspaper when I'm going to give you, you need to do extracting, putting it back. Some other example quickly before I finish demonstration. The use of rectangular marquees or elliptical. Let's say if I want to create a poster of it, I can use rectangular marquee, new selection, blank layer. Make sure the new layers are selected. Okay, and then I'm going to simply add a patch here. Let's say like that. Okay, now in this patch I will use paint bucket, any color I like, fill the color, deselect my patch. So all I've got right now with the move tool, you can see a simple rectangular white patch. Okay, now with this white patch, for that layer 2, let me rename it to patch. Now for that layer, as the layer is selected, I'm going to reduce its opacity. Do you see the transparent patch now? That's how you'll see a lot of graphics in these newspapers. They just add patches. And on this patch, they use the text tool, which is the most basic tool. We can display it by the T icon. Use any fonts you like, any fonts colors you like. Okay, I can simply click there and type, let's say, New York. Okay, as the selection is there, I can change it to adjust the text. Very simple graphics for posters ads. Most of the newspaper I've seen these days, they love this kind of graphics. All about nice images behind, and then patches, and add a text on top of it. So it looks fantastic. Okay, so that's what effectively we can use the rectangular and elliptical marquees with add and subtract selections. So I want to see whether you can use those graphics and create a very simple patch effect like that, or in any other shape. I will distribute some leaflets so that you can do some activity following the simple extracting example. Okay, let me stop the demonstration for a while.